We are going to make a basic hot chisel. I don't know if you guys can see this guy right here, but we're going to start with a piece of 3/4 round, 8 inches long. This is a sucker rod, what they use in oil fields.
Okay.
And basically it goes on the machines, I don't know what they're called, but you'll see them pumping up and down, going in the ground like that, and then pull oil up. So after a while, these things will get stretched out and they're no longer good. So we salvage them and we cut them down to size because they're made out of like a 41 series tool steel. So we can use that to our advantage to make these hot chisels right here.
And then what's the advantage of the hot chisel versus getting a cold chisel just from your Home Depot kind of thing?
Well, the difference has to do with the profile of the edge. The profile of the edge here, I don't know if you can see, the taper of it is very slight. So that's what you want for a hot chisel.
Right.
Now, when you want a cold chisel, your angle is going to be much more abrupt. Right now, your hot chisel angle is right here. When you do a cold chisel, your cold chisel angle is going to be like this, because you need more support behind this edge right here when you go to cut. If you don't have that support, your fine edge right here is just going to bend and fall apart on you. You can use a cold chisel for this work, it's just fine. But the hot chisel with this profile on the edge is going to allow you to cut the metal with less distortion in it while you're pushing it away. First, I'm going to bring this out, and it's round right now. I'm going to create a bit of an octagonal shape, maybe about 1 inch from the end right here. I'm going to bring it out and set it right here and create my octagonal shape. Then I'm going to take it out, put it on the horn, and give it an indentation so when I go to hold my chisel, I always know where my cutting edge is. Okay? Then after that, I'm going to put it back in the fire, flip it around, and start working my profile so I'm able to cut my steel. So we're making a stylized chisel. You can make a chisel any way you want, but this is the way I was taught, and this is the kind of way I make most of my tools. So I don't know if you can see this or not. It has the octagonal end. Move it around for you and show you. So what I'm going to do next is pull it out, and if you can see this profile right here that gets thinner, here's a 90-degree view. It gets thinner. We're going to create that on the round piece of steel. It gets fatter here, and then narrows down to your chisel edge. This is what we want to create. Now having this small little facet right here allows you to hold your tool and you always know where the cutting edge is. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and I'm going to give it the octagonal profile we mentioned just at the end. Goes well, you have something that's pretty dang close to an octagon. So we're going to go ahead and put this back in the fire and get a little more heat. It's warm right here, but it's not warm enough for this type of steel. Just need to get a little bit more heat. I go by the color and by forging every day, you start to realize some steels use a higher heat than others. Some steels you can get by with a darker heat. Some steels you need like a really, really bright heat. Like you'll pull that out, sometimes you'll see it as a bright yellow, and that's what you want for this type of steel. So now we're going to go ahead and pull this out and create that indentation that I just mentioned. Quick brushing to get some of the scale off. Hope you guys can see that. I'm going to go ahead and straighten this up a bit. Now we're going to go ahead and turn this around. Put this in the forge and create the cutting end. Our what we call the business end of your tool. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, and I'm going to give it a quick brush in with my wire brush to take the slag off. The reason I do that is so the slag does not embed itself into the steel while I'm making my tool. Do not do that. I'm going to hold this at a slight angle, start creating my profile. Working from both sides. Created a basic chisel. The only thing now is we just have to work on the end with a file and create our profile for the cutting edge. I came down with harder blows towards the end because I want to spread the material out right here. You see right here to here, I want to spread that out. And I went lighter as I got towards the back because I want to keep that roundness, that thickness in the center. I want it to taper down. If you see right here, you can see a taper this way and that way. That's what I want. So by giving lighter blows to the back here, I leave that wider, and heavier blows to the front to squash it down to give it my width and create my cutting edge. I'm going to put that back in the fire and get a heat on that. I'm going to grab a rasp. We're going to put it in the vise right here and create our profile with the rasp. Now this is just a everyday farrier's rasp. They use it to trim feet with. But once it gets too dull for them, us as a blacksmith, we can use this to rasp on hot metal. And sometimes if you get after this pretty quick, you'll be much faster than a grinder. But it just takes practice using a good rasp. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, put this in the vise, and use my rasp right here to create my profile of my edge. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because we don't need to leave this running and waste fuel. Do that. Good, clamp down, come right on top here and go ahead and flip this over and do the same thing to the other side. Constantly looking over and seeing where your edge is. So I'm going forward to create my edge to push it to the center. Take this out. Look at this. One more cleanup, take off a little burr on the end. Back over here and take a look. Grab my brush over here and give it some brushing. And if everything went as planned, you'll have your cutting edge right in the center of that steel. That's kind of a concrete style wire brush. It's really aggressive. You should put a handle on it. It's the best thing to use to get the loose slag off your hot steel. And that right there is just a basic hot chisel. But you can see it did not take much time at all. So after we made our chisel, one of the steps you have to do is heat treating. A quick touch on heat treating. After you make this chisel, you need to anneal it. It gets all the stress out of it. So you would need to get this up to a critical temperature and then put it in a container of like vermiculite, which will cool it down very slowly. And that can take anywhere from 4 to 10 hours, depending on how hot the piece is. Then after that, you want to pull it out, you want to harden it, and then you want to draw a temper on your edge. But all that is going to be in another episode. Right now, we're going to go ahead and create a bracket for you. Tap that down lightly. Next step would be 2 more steps. Punch a hole right there, and then we're going to bend it right in the middle. You have your corner bracket, stylized corner bracket.